Good evening, everyone. Students, families, and supporters, we're so excited to have you here. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Want to make sure that everyone that is interested in attending is able to get logged on and get situated before we get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, students, families, and supporters. We're so glad to have you on today's session of student involvement at Stony Brook University. During this session, we have representation from student engagement and activities. To start off this session, we're going to hear a little bit from the panelists. They're going to do a presentation, and then we're going to be opening the floor for questions. So we want to answer any specific questions you have. Anything, throw them in the Q&A function and we can answer them as we are kind of talking through everything, and we can also answer them in the chat. Just want to make sure we get all of your questions answered. And this session is going to be recorded and you can access it on our YouTube channel. So if you ever want to look back on anything, you can always access it there and watch all of the other recordings that we have. So if you're unable to attend any of the other ones, feel free to access them there. So I'm going to hand it off. Oh, before I hand it off to Rebecca, also just want to let you know that we have 2 PALs or peer assistant leaders. And they're there to also share their own experience and answer kind of any student focused questions. We also have marching band here. So after student engagement and activities, she's going to also share some information and then we'll get into questions. So Rebecca, you can start us off.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully everybody can see it. Give me 1 second. Everybody see the screen okay? Awesome. And Neil's giving me a thumbs up. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on a Tuesday evening. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, the week's all messed up for the holiday. My name is Becky and I am the Assistant Director for Student Engagement Activities. And I am with my colleague Anil Prasad, who is the coordinator for Student Engagement Activities. So we're here to talk a little bit about what we do and what our office can provide to you as new students, as well as students at any level at Stony Brook University. So our mission is to really help students get out of the classroom and really be able to engage with campus life. We're here to really help you make friends, find your interest, and really find your community of people. And through that, there's various clubs and organizations, there are various events, but overall, we're really here to help students get leadership experience and really connect with the campus community through various engagement opportunities. So our bread and butter really is to get folks involved, right? And why is it so important to get involved? It's so important to get involved, not only to make friends, but to really become part of this large community. You can focus on your interests, have fun, and future employers really are looking for students who engage outside of the classroom and get involved. You can create a network with other students, really engage with students who are in your major or not in your major. A lot of our clubs and organizations have various networking opportunities that can coincide with your major. And studies really show that being an involved student have higher GPAs. So in 21 to 22 school year, our eBoard members and our recognized student organizations had about an average cumulative GPA of 3.5. So that really shows that the more you get involved and the more you kind of expand, really reflects on your GPA as a student. So some small ways to get involved. We have a BuzzFeed quiz to find out which SEA activity you are. It's a fun little activity you can do. We have SB Engaged and Quirk, which I'll get into in a little bit. Learning about the different organizations and the different organization types on campus, as well as really understanding the difference between recognized and unrecognized organizations. attend involvement fairs. We have an involvement fair each semester in the beginning of the semesters to really get you to learn about all the different organizations that are here at Stony Brook, as well as a weekly Campus Connect listserv. So every week we send out a listserv of the different events that are being hosted. You're automatically signed up for that, but obviously you can opt out, but we encourage folks to stay opt-in so they can be in the know of all the things that are happening on campus. Following our SEA at SB Engage social media, we post heavily on there of all the different things that are happening on campus, as well as on Facebook. And lastly, if you're not able to find something that you're into, which is tough because we do have 375 organizations, but there is a chance that you may not see something that you're interested in. And we do encourage you to start an organization and get involved that way. So there's a small video. I'm going to skip past that just for sake of timing. But some other ways you can get involved on campus, not just through student engagement activities. We encourage folks to become peer educators with the Center for Prevention Outreach, work or volunteer with the Center for Civic Justice. If you live on campus, you can be a part of your hall council or apply to be a resident assistant. You can be a commuter assistant if you commute, as well as find different jobs and internships on Handshake. That is the portal we use for folks to be able to find employment opportunities. There's various intramural sports. You could be a peer mentor with undergraduate colleges. And lastly, just attend events and join clubs and organizations. So there really is so many various different ways for you to get involved as a student here from the minute you join campus. So we encourage you, and we're here to support that and help you figure out the different ways you can get involved. So student engagement activities currently is housed with 3 different subsets. So club and organization, fraternity and sorority life, and programs and traditions. And I'm going to get into a little bit what each one is. Currently, fraternity and sorority life is housed under student engagement activities, but in the upcoming weeks, it will be being moved out into student life as a whole. Doesn't really mean much for our students, but just as a heads up, it will be moving out of student engagement activities. I don't see anything, any questions or anything in the chat so far, but feel free to let me know if I'm missing anything, Anil. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. All right. So clubs and organizations, we have about 325 organizations, which include cultural, performance, advocacy, spiritual, academic, media, service, fraternal, sports, and leisure-based, a whole bunch of different types of organizations that hopefully pique your interest. Some points of pride with our clubs and organizations. In the school year of 21-22, our student organizations offered about 7,400 meetings and events. They are truly the lifeline of our campus community, and they really host a wide variety of different events for students that allow you to kind of really get involved. In addition, we welcome 30 new student organizations. And the average GPA for our student organization leaders in the fall of 2021 was 3.45. So relatively high GPA, which shows obviously that getting involved does have an impact on your GPA. I'm not going to go super through this, but we encourage folks to really take a deep dive into SB Engage to really see the different types of organizations that we have here on campus. There are various different ones and they all fit within different pockets. So your academic honor societies, your activism and advocacy, community awareness and service, cultural, leisure activities, media, performance, religious and spiritual, and sports. So I'll go through a little bit of how you can find those different organizations in a bit, but everything is housed within SB Engage. And that's your one-stop shop to really be able to see all these different organizations, search by different things you're interested in, and be able to connect with these groups on a one-to-one basis. So fraternity and sorority life is made up of about 30 social, professional, and culturally based fraternal organizations currently. Last year, our community welcomed over 280 new members and held over 1,500 programs and raised over $47,000 for philanthropic causes. The all-campus GPA was about 3.36. So some facts about fraternity and sorority life: you have to have at least 12 college credits and a GPA of 2.5 or higher to join our fraternity and sorority life communities. Some may have additional requisitions that you have to meet. So if you are interested in that, please feel free to reach out to us directly and we can help you navigate that process. Or just go on our website. We have a ton of information there and a ton of Q&A that will help you learn a little bit more about our fraternity and sorority life community. Some big things we really want you to realize is with our 375 organizations, right there, we want to make sure that you're only joining and being active with organizations that are currently recognized within our department. So what that means is on SB Engage, and I mentioned that a couple times, but on SB Engage houses all of our clubs and organizations and fraternal organizations on campus that are currently recognized with student engagement and activities. If you don't see them listed there, that means they are not currently recognized with our department. So we definitely want you to not engage with those organizations, and we definitely want you to not join any unrecognized organizations, right? Because of liability. And all these groups that have been recognized with our department have met certain criteria. They've gone through different processes. So those are the ones we want to make sure that you are being able to join and engaging with. And obviously these are far and few between, but they do exist at times. So we want to make sure that you're staying informed and only joining organizations that are recognized within our department. In addition, we have a campaign that's been going on for a little bit, that Seawolves Don't Haze, right? We know it happens on college campuses. We know it happens all across the country, right? But we encourage our Seawolves to be able to report things that they see and hear. So for emergencies, we encourage folks to call university police at 333, file an incident report, which can be seen on our website, on the hazing prevention website as well. Report to any campus faculty or staff administrator. A lot of the professional staff in our department are mandated reporters. So you can come talk to us and we can help you navigate that process. In addition to being familiar with the Stony Brook's Good Samaritan policy. You'll learn a lot about this all throughout orientation. So I'm not going to go into it too much, but we just want to kind of drive that point home that we as a community are really enforcing and helping our students understand that things happen and bad things do happen, but we have those policies and procedures to be able to report things so we can, fix different issues on campus and encouraging students not to engage in risky behavior. Awesome. So the third subset of student engagement activities is programs and traditions. So our department will host multiple events each weekend. Specifically, that's what Anil and I work on with a team of about 10 undergraduate student staff. So we put on events every single Friday and Saturday night that consist of paint nights, movie nights, hypnotists, game shows. You'll meet all of us during opening week, New Seawolves Welcome Week, where we will be hosting a ton of programs for you. All of our events are free and low cost and can be found on SB Engaged and Quirk. In addition, we host and support major traditions on campus, such as Homecoming, Weeks of Welcome, Spooky Brook, Wolfieland, Brookfest, Roth Regatta, all that fun stuff. And I know these words probably don't mean anything to you yet, but when you are a Seawolf and when you are with us on campus, you'll get to know all these traditions that we host. I mentioned it briefly, New Seawolves Welcome Week. That is a week of long events between 8:15 and 8:21 that we will be hosting for you. It is all types of different programs that we will be hosting, specifically geared to new students, transfer students, and first-time students. And we branded it as SBU WOW, so Weeks of Welcome. It's really an initiative that helps you get engaged with campus community, learn about who we are, learn about different campus partners, and really start to become a part of the campus community. So once you're on campus or once you're starting to prepare to become on campus, you can kind of go on SB Engaged and filter by Weeks of Welcome to see all the events that we will be hosting. Again, you'll get tons of information about this in your email, so stay tuned for that and make sure you're following our social media threads. Awesome. How are we looking on time? Should I keep going a little bit longer? Lexi, should we keep going a little bit longer? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I know I'm going a little bit fast, but a lot of the stuff is on our website and I'm happy to answer any questions. But I've talked a lot about SB Engaged and Quirk, and I want to kind of break down what that means. So SB Engaged is a platform that houses all of our campus events and our organizations and involvement opportunities. Like I said, it's your one-stop shop. To really be able to explore different student organizations, find events that are happening on campus, track and manage your involvement on campus, and staying involved. So you can access this by going to stonybrook.edu/SB Engaged. You'll need your NetID and password to log on to be able to see all the things that are being hosted on campus. But friends and families You can go on SB Engage as well. You just won't see the full breadth of events and organizations because there's only so much information that is being shown to the public. But there are some things there that you can play around with. But to really get a deep dive into everything that's on there and all the functionality and capabilities of the system, you want to make sure you're using your NetID and password. So I want to preface this with some of these images are a little bit outdated only because about 2 days ago, the system had a whole new facelift. So just keep that in mind when you are kind of going through SB Engage yourself, but it is a very user-friendly system. But on the system, you're able to find your event pass. So what I like to tell people is event pass is kind of like when you're going on an airplane and you have that QR code for your boarding pass. And when you show it, you're able to get on the plane. Very similarly, we take attendance at our events. So you'll generate that event pass. It will never change. I like to tell people that it's kind of like a digital ID card. You can access it from your phone. You'll save it to your wallet, and that's how you'll be scanned into all of our events. Like I said, our events are free, but it just allows us to kind of take attendance and see who's attending our events. You'll be able to see some events that you've attended. You'll be able to see service hours, the memberships you are a part of in terms of clubs and organizations, any forms you submitted, and in your involvement record. In addition, you can find events that are happening on campus. There are a ton of events that happen weekly and daily, probably so many that they kind of get all pushed up to the system, but you can filter out by what you're looking for. You can filter out by different categories of events. You can search by dates. You can also search by different perks. Are you looking for an event with free food? Are you looking for an event with free stuff? You can search by that. In addition, you can filter by different themes. And like I mentioned, you can find different organizations on campus. This is where you can search by those different categories I mentioned, your academic and honor society, your activism, and so on, and really read about the different clubs and organizations and connect with them to be able to learn more. Like I mentioned as well, if the organization is listed on SB Engage, that is your telltale sign that they are a recognized organization within student engagement activities. If they have any kind of conduct issues or any kind of status, that will be listed on their SB Engage page. So you're kind of in the know of where that organization is in terms of their standing. If you don't see an organization on here, but you are getting emails from them or saying that they are a recognized club and organization, come talk to us. We can always verify that information for you. SB Engage, like I said, is the website version. You can also access it, on your phone. However, the easiest way to access all that SB Engage has to offer on the go is with the app called Quark. It is exactly the same thing as SB Engage. It's just the mobile app version of SB Engage. So we highly encourage everybody on the phone on this call today to download Quark. It's your greatest tool to be able to be in the know of what's going on campus and really be engaged and be involved. So you can simply go to your Apple store, Microsoft store, any Android store, any store that you have with your phone and search Quark, C-O-R-Q. And that way you can download it. Make sure you sign in with your NetID and password, and you will be able to see all that the campus has to offer. Like I mentioned, the event pass, you can go in the Quark app, sign in, and definitely save that event pass to your wallet and make sure you have access to it at all times, because that's how you'll get signed into these events. I know I gave a ton of information, but please ask any questions. And yeah, thank you so much. We look forward to working with you and helping you get engaged outside the classroom. I'll be here for the next hour with Anil, so please feel free to put any questions in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much for presenting and sharing all of that awesome information. Belle, would you like to share a presentation or just kind of talk through marching band?
Sorry, yeah, I don't have a presentation just because I'm gonna kind of talk. It's like 1 a.m. where I'm at right now. So I don't have anything to present, but if I do want to give some information,
Awesome.
if you guys are interested in marching band, our application is still open. A couple things about marching band is that it is not only is it something that you can be involved in on campus, and it's a really good way to find friends, you also get credit for it as well. So it's a 1 credit course that you can sign up for. And another thing that people don't always know is that you don't necessarily have to play a marching instrument to be in marching band. We have a lot of wiggle room with that. And if you did any sort of guard, whether that be like color guard, twirling, anything like that, we do offer that as well. But if you're not really interested in marching, but you want to continue with like music in general, we do have a spring semester, which is more like a pep band. So just let me know in the chat if you guys are interested. I can link you guys with any sort of PowerPoint, but it's a great way to make friends, and you get to move into campus a little early for preseason, and you get to go to all the games for free. So definitely hit me up if you guys are interested, or you can email us at marchingband.stony or at stonybrook.edu and look us up. We have our own page.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Belle. So that was all of the presenters we had. So we're going to go into really just answering the questions. So please feel free to put any questions you have in the Q&A, and we can either talk through them or answer them in the chat. And we are happy to go till, you know, whenever we answer all the questions. But if you all don't have questions, we can also end early. Totally up to you. Want to be there to make your life easier and not just make you sit here on your screen for another half hour. To kick us off with some questions, I have a question for the pals. So Valet and Alicia, I would love to hear about your involvements. If you want to share about what you're involved on campus.
So you want to know about my involvement?
Yes.
All right, cool. So first of all, I am a part of the undergraduate student government for next year. So I would be working as a senator in the USG. And again, I'm also involved with the New Students and Transition program. So right now I'm working as a PAL. That's one of my involvements. I was also a part of the Hall Council and the Residence Hall Association. So I've served as the president of my Hall Council previously. And I was also working in the Office of Global Affairs under the Visa and Immigration Services. And I've also been an undergraduate TA for 4 different physics classes. And I was also a delegate for Stony Brook University at the Regional Leadership Conference and the National Leadership Conference. And I'm also a part of the Astronomy Club and the Stony Brook UNICEF Club.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Valet, for sharing that. And as you can see, our pals are very, very involved. Alicia, do you want to share any of your campus involvement?
Of course. So part of my involvement is that I'm actually a peer educator at CPO, which stands for Center of Prevention and Outreach. I'm also involved in Pre-Nursing Society, so a society of any pre-nurses or anyone interested in the field of nursing. And we do a lot of different membership and different activities just to get ourselves involved in healthcare. Also, as well as in Pre-PA Club, also known as Pre-Physician Assistant Club. So we always collab with other organizations and clubs such as Project Sunshine, Circle K, and just a lot of different activities. I'm also part of InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. So I serve as the event coordinator as well as being part of the praise team or worship team, because I love to sing, but I don't know if I could commit to being in a choir, but there's a lot of different ways to involve singing into something that I am very passionate about. So I love to sing, and I like dedicating my time to sing for my religious group.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alicia. I do have a few frequently asked questions that I can pull from, but please keep going ahead and asking questions in the Q&A chat function, and we're happy to answer anything you have.
I can answer this one question. It's probably a little bit, I know that the LA is answering as well, but if you were interested in joining different clubs and organizations, there's a couple different ways that you can do that. The first point of contact, I would say, do you go on SB Engaged and search different organizations? So I will put it's stonybrook.edu/SB Engaged. And from there, sign in with your NetID and password, and you can search different organizations because there's a lot. Like I said, there's 375. So really honing in on what type of organization you'd like to join. Do you want to do something that there's community service? Do you want to do something where you can do more of advocacy. There's a lot of activism and advocacy groups, especially with a lot going on in our country right now. I know that is a passion for some folks. So there's all different types of organizations, from college Democrats to college Republicans to liberals, anybody in between. So finding different, your religious based organizations, right? Culturally based organizations. So really honing in on what you'd like to be a part of. And from there searching, because our involvement fair is the first week of classes, and it can be a pretty overwhelming experience, especially how many tables of student organizations there are. So I always encourage folks to go on SB Engage first and find different organizations that you're interested in, write them down, and then you kind of know which tables you want to go to. Because if you try to go to every single table, you're going to be bombarded with information, and obviously it's impossible to join every single student organization. So like I mentioned in the beginning, do that BuzzFeed quiz, really take the time to look at all these things and come in and talk to us. We're always here and available to kind of chat with you. If you're like, I'm really interested in like this type of culturally based organization, or I'm really interested in this activism and advocacy, or I want to be able to do some community service. These are all great ways to come in and chat with us, or use SB Engaged, and then you'll have the best experience of that involvement fair. I'll also put in the chat, the involvement fair website. Cool.
Awesome, thank you. And what advice do you have for incoming students that are worried about balancing academics and getting involved?
Yeah, I can answer that as well. I would say give yourself some time, right, to get acclimated. It's a very big transition from high school to college, or wherever you were before this, right? So there's always a little bit of a transition, but it's always possible. A lot of our students are involved in organizations, so it's absolutely possible to manage, right? So you definitely don't want to overload yourself and join a million clubs the first week, right? Give yourself some time to really get acclimated to your coursework, feel comfortable about where you'd like to go. And like I said, really understanding the organization. Some of our organizations are a lot more involvement. It might take up a little bit more time on your schedule, where others might not, right? So some might meet weekly as a general body member, some might meet bi-weekly or once a month. And from there, you can get as little involved or more involved with these clubs and organizations as you'd like, right? So you can become on the e-board, you can become a secretary, a treasurer, right? So really go to the general body meetings that they have. All clubs and organizations will have general body and interest meetings in the first week, or the first month. They're going to explain what's it like to be part of this clubs and organization, and what does it mean, how much time is required to be a part of this club and organization, and ask those questions when you're going to the involvement fair. But give yourself some time to be able to get acclimated to the different coursework, and as well as joining different organizations, but it's 100% possible. I see another question was, I'm interested in joining the tennis club. Do I wait until school starts or sign up now? So you can always message them. There's no harm in messaging them or directly contacting them through SB Engage. I will be very honest. A lot of our clubs and organizations are also on summer break, right? So don't be offended if you don't get a super quick response, right? Because they are students and they also are kind of not on campus. So you could definitely connect with them via SB Engage. There's a button that says message us or contact us, and you can say, hey, I'm interested in joining the tennis club. What does that look like? Because some sports clubs have different processes, and intramural sports clubs have different processes to join them. So definitely, again, I know I'm a broken record, but SB Engage, it has all the information you need. Or if you have a specific question, come find us or call us, or email us at studentengagement@stonybrook.edu. I think there's another question. If there's a club I'm interested in, I think at some point I want a position on the e-board, how do I reach that point? So again, clubs and organizations are all very different, right? So I encourage everybody to become a general body member first, right? And really get involved with the organization, go to their events. And that's your best way to really become part of the e-board, right? Because you want to show that you're a dedicated general body member, and show that you would be able to give the time and energy to be able to become an e-board member. And again, there's different processes for different clubs and organizations. Usually they change every year for the election. So definitely becoming a strong general body member that year, and then reaching out and working with the current e-board to understand what kind of things you need to do to be able to get to that level. Some require you to be on the general body for 2 years. Some require you to be on there for a semester. Everybody's different in their constitution. So definitely ask these questions when you're going and meeting them at the involvement fair or at their general body meetings. keep the questions coming. I love to answer them.
Another frequently asked questions, while we have a little lull, is do you have any more information on paid kind of ways to get involved? So like on-campus jobs and things like that.
Yeah, so Handshake is really the best way to get on-campus jobs, right? So within student engagement activities, we do have various positions that are internship-based or paid opportunities. Those are usually, we do recruitment around spring because that's when we transition over our staffs. But again, everywhere is different. So really using Handshake to be able to gauge what different campus opportunities there are. And the Career Center is really great here at Stony Brook. They host various job fairs, internship fairs. So really staying on SB Engage, because that's where you'll find the most information, as well as making sure you're reading these Campus Connect listserv emails, right? Because all that information is there. And I know sometimes folks will kind of breeze past Stony Brook emails as a student, but I always encourage people to really make sure you're reading that, because you could be missing some very pertinent information. I've had tons of students who have worked for me who have gone to campus employment opportunities and really got connected with some amazing off-campus entities because they were connected to Stony Brook. My student who just graduated just got a coding job for Grubhub with amazing benefits. And that was really because she went to the on-campus job fair. And that was it. So the Career Center works incredibly hard to be able to get those opportunities, as well as cull in all the different opportunities on campus for students. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to that.
Awesome, thank you.
You can see this. I just sent the enrollment fair.
Rebecca, I think you sent it to the host and panelists. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste
Please
that
do.
to everybody.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so students can also join sports during the activities fair. There is sports clubs absolutely will be present at the involvement fair. It is broken down into 2 days, as well as there's a performance fair. So the performance fair is specifically for our clubs and organizations who have a performance arc to them. So if that is when they'll kind of be showcasing those different performances, and you can actually learn about how to join them. Excuse me. So the sports clubs will be there, and you'll be able to get some more information of how to join their club and organization. Some of them have like a different process and some recruitment period. So again, I say it again, SB Engage is your best place of information to be able to see what those different club and org processes are.
If you have any last minute questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. If not, we can, give it about a minute or so and then head off for the evening.
Just gonna put in the chat our student engagement email, and they're pretty responsive. You should get an email back within 24 hours. So feel free, if you have additional questions that you don't want to ask here, or you're just not sure yet, reach out to us. We're here to help and provide support in any way.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and presenting, especially during, evening time when you could be eating dinner or doing anything else. Thank you so much, Belle, for coming as well in your different time zone, and Anil, and to the pals, Valet and Alicia. Really appreciate having you here and, kind of connecting with the students. Again, please feel free to reach out to student engagement and activities or new student in transition programs. If you have any additional questions, we're very happy to follow up with you.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one. Thank you.